Hey guys, it's Lauren Kennedy and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let's get right to the video. So you're probably here because you are interested in applying to UNC BBSP, and I just want to give a little bit of background of who I am, why you should trust me, and what my experience was like, and what you should expect if you plan on applying or if you just got into the BBSP program at UNC. So my name is Lauren. I'm currently a second-year graduate student that came in through the BBSP program, and I thought that it would be really helpful to have a video like this for those that are interested, and because I wish I would have had something like this for myself coming in, and I just thought that it would be a really great time to share my experience. So first things first thing is, where do I live? How do I find an apartment? What do I do? So coming in, they normally have a list of apartments and also those that are looking for roommates in the area. If you're like me and you like living by yourself, it can be a little bit trickier, and if you are picky in terms of finding apartments, that can be a little bit harder too. So honestly, what I did a lot of intensive research on apartments here. I originally came in and I did not visit a lot of apartments in the area. So I literally chose the first apartment complex that was in my budget and I went for it, and it turned out to be a really decent place, but I do not recommend. I recommend if you have the opportunity to come down and tour apartments and find one that works best for you. But like I said, there are people that are looking for roommates, so that can make your situation a little bit easier, and also budgeting wise, which I'll get into later on in the video, but it can also help with budgeting month to month, especially if you're the type of person that likes to go out and have a social life, and we'll get into that as well too. So first things first, figuring out where you're going to stay. I also recommend staying somewhere on a bus line because it is really easy to get to campus if you live in an apartment complex that is really close to campus, and it makes your life 10 times easier, because if not, you have to pay for a parking pass, and I am not really familiar with the parking passes, but I know that they can get pretty expensive. So if that is something that you're not looking to buy or have in your budget for, just keep that in mind. I also know that they do have parking ride situations where you can park at a parking lot and a bus will take you to campus, but it all depends on what you want your commute to look like in the morning and what works best for you. So what does the first week look like as a BBSP student? Just a little bit of background of what the BBSP program is. It is the Biological and Biomedical Sciences program, where it is an umbrella program that has various departments that you can choose from, and I think over like 300 labs on campus that you can rotate in. There are so many opportunities, there are so many labs that you can choose from, so you're not limited in the research area, but pretty much the opportunity to do so. You can rotate and labs that seem to suit your interests. So the first week for me, I am a part of IMSD, and that stands for Initiative for Maximizing Student Development, and I want to read exactly what it is because I don't want to get anything wrong. The primary goal is to strengthen research training environments and promote broader participation in the biomedical research workforce by supporting the development of biomedical PhD students, especially students from under-resourced backgrounds, and their successful transition to bioscience careers. Honestly, y'all, without IMSD, I think that it would have made my transition experience into my PhD program 10 times harder, because they really provided a supportive environment. The first week during IMSD boot camp, that's when I met probably the bulk of my friends. It was 16 of us, and we came in and we bonded like crazy. My cohort was so close, and in a way I still feel like we are really close. We still socialize, we still talk, we keep up to date. These are friends that I probably will have for the entire for my entire grad school journey, and I'm really grateful to be a part of such an amazing community like this. So the first week we had IMSD boot camp, where basically it was preparing us for what we should expect in the program itself. It gave us an opportunity to meet people, to have a community, and almost as if we didn't go in alone. So if you have the opportunity to join IMSD, I definitely recommend. They also have a T32 training grant that you can apply to be on. It's for first and second year, so I encourage you all to apply. This is what the first week looked like for me. It was a lot of workshops, and we had a lot of panels just kind of discussing what grad school would look like. If I had any questions of that sort, from rotations to what classes would be like to what coaching would look like. Coaching is almost like tutoring, where more senior grad students in IMSD coach other students and help them with their classes, especially first year students. I think that is a great resource, especially coming in from undergrad and not really knowing what to expect from grad student classes. At first week we had nobody told me that in grad school you get so much free food. Like, y'all, I think for the first like few weeks I did not have to bring my lunch. That is a perk of being in grad school. You always get free food, so always keep your eyes open for the free food, y'all. You know, I never miss out on no free food, I'm just saying. But yeah, so that was what the first week was. So I went into orientation week knowing all of these people. I made all these friends my first week, and orientation week was kind of similar to boot camp. I don't want to go exactly into what orientation looks like, but it's just more of an introduction to the program itself, finding rotations, helping those that are out of state, those that might be from outside of the country, how to navigate, how to become a North Carolina resident if you aren't one. If you're like myself, I'm not from North Carolina, so I think it was definitely a helpful experience. I don't remember the ins and outs of my orientation, but I do remember boot camp and orientation almost being a little bit similar, but orientation was with my entire cohort, and I think it was really great to meet some of those people as well, and also use that week to reach out to any PIs that you may be interested in and talking to them. So during the first week, we also had the opportunity to meet senior IMSD people, and we had a pool party, and y'all, that was so fun. That's why I'm saying, like, the importance of community in grad school to uplift you and support you through your journey. I was also able to connect with a lot of senior students that I still go to for advice. The next thing, what do classes look like? What does this look like as a grad student? And I know everybody was wondering about what classes would look like. I was wondering. I was actually scared. So we actually go off a pass-fail system. I don't know if that's actually correct, but we have fail, low pass, pass, and high pass. So in all your classes, you are expected to get a pass, and you need to have a pass. If you get a low pass, I think that you're on some sort of, I think you can only get a certain number of low passes. In the program, they want you to succeed. And normally, I don't think as a grad student you can take more than a certain amount of credits, or they don't recommend that you take more than a certain amount of credits, because when you're in your classes, you're also a full-time researcher while you're doing your classes. So as a first and second year, you will have to take classes. I advise you to take no more than 2 classes, because our schedules are already very rigorous, whether it's with meetings, research, and other things. So please be sure to not overload your schedule with classes. There are so many cool classes to take, and I only chose 2. The first year I took a virology class, and I took a pharmacology class, and I feel like it was a perfect balance. I feel like if I had anything other than that, my life would have been crazy. I chose classes based on the departments that I was interested in. At the time, I was interested in microbiology and immunology, and also pharmacology. I ended up not joining either one of those departments, but I took classes based on the departments that I was interested in, and it ultimately helped me narrow down what my research was in. Also, my first rotation was in microbiology and immunology, so it also helped give me a little bit of background based on the lab that I was in, because coming into grad school, there are different people from all different backgrounds, from different levels, different experiences, and they kind of want everybody to be on the same playing field. So coming in, it kind of puts everybody on the same level. If you have any more questions about classes, please feel free to ask me. But normally they run from August until like the first week of December. Normally there are about anywhere from 3 to 6 exams in each class, depending on what class you take. And when you're in a lab, PIs know that you have classes, so they know that you'll be missing some of your research time to go to class. But also talk over your schedule with them to make sure that you guys have an understanding of what expectations are. Before rotations, y'all, I think that I should make a completely separate video about what rotations were like for me, and if you are interested in knowing what rotations were like for me, please comment down below because I will make an entirely separate video on that. But in the BBSP program, you have 3 rotations. They're each 10 weeks long, and after each rotation you have to complete some sort of capstone project, whether that is the first one being a poster, the second one a review, and the last one being a talk. Most PIs are not expecting you to get data in a 10-week rotation, but you just kind of present what you learned, and you present them in a class called first year group, or FYG, and it is required for all first years to take it. It's a class of students in your cohort that have similar interests, and you have a faculty mentor, you have a lead peer mentor, and you also have other mentors within that group to kind of help you navigate your first year as a grad student. I found this very helpful, especially being in rotations, needing advice. So I also have IMSD mentors, so I just want to emphasize the amount of support that we have in the program. Not only do you have like your cohort and other people to rely on, you have people that are there in place for you, help you through your entire journey. In that class, they kind of help you prepare for making a poster, a talk, and a review. There are many editing processes. You also can practice with people in your group, and they break us into little subgroups to kind of go over what we presented. So it's a constant learning environment, but also it provides a space where you can be real about what your rotation experiences are like, if you like the lab or not. I mean, like, that's a space where you can be completely honest, and if you need help, you can literally get help. That's what I loved about this program. Like, I felt like I was never alone. I felt like whenever I was going through something, I always had somebody that I could speak to for help. Like, especially with my experience during my rotation, I felt like I was constantly supported, and I just had a great environment to do that in. First year group is normally on Monday or Wednesdays, and it's normally from 3:30 to 5 o'clock. Be prepared in your schedule to have that block of time dedicated to first year group. What does social life look like as a BBSP student? Will you have a social life as a grad student? See, I feel like this looks different for everybody. Me, I came in really young. I started grad school really young. I started at the age of 22. I'm currently 23 now, and social life looks different. Like, I came straight from undergrad, and I'm still figuring out and navigating my 20s. So sometimes I like to go out with my friends, but every weekend I dedicate one day to myself, whether that is to go out, to hang out with friends, whatever that may look like. I give myself that freedom and that time to, like, one day to not think about science. But with the people that you meet in your cohort, you learn to create a social life. I live close to Franklin Street, so there's always something to do, but also we live in the Raleigh, Durham area, so there's also so much social life there as well. Honestly, I felt like there were so many social events, and I was getting invited to left and right. I felt like it was never a dull moment. And then even creating friends, I felt like there was always so much to do, especially being on Franklin Street. And then also there being a lot of off-campus activities that we indulged in. Like IMSD, I think we went kayaking as a group before. I also think, let me look at my memory. Kayaking, celebrated my birthday. I went to the fair with some of my friends. I went to a UNC football game, a lot of fun trips, and so much more. So, like, it is definitely possible to have a social life in grad school. I believe in balance. I believe that you should have a life outside of the lab, and I feel like this program definitely pushes that. Also, as far as rotations, I feel like it's definitely important to also discuss with the people in the lab that are already there what breaks look like for them, how, like, for holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, or whatever other holidays that you celebrate, what that looks like, because that is lab dependent. That is not dependent on the BBSP program itself. Budgeting. So we get paid monthly, and this may ruffle a little feathers, but we get paid monthly, so that means once a month, and it is important to budget your money. I can also, if you guys are interested, I can make another video about that as well, because I don't want to go too in depth. But I'm gonna tell y'all, it was low-key a struggle. Like, as a person coming fresh into adulting and learning to pay bills on my own and things like that, that rent must be paid the first of the month. Like, it has to be paid, so you have to make sure that you budget. And it's also important to know that we do not get paid until the end of August. So we start at the beginning of August, but we do not get paid until the end. So it's important to budget coming in and not expect to get paid like the first week. I don't know the logistics behind it, but I know it takes time to get on the payroll system. I don't know all of that, but be sure to keep that in mind. Also, understand I'm not going to put like my business out there of how much I get paid monthly. That is my personal business, and if you're in the program, your personal business as well. But like I said, budgeting is really important to budget for rent. That's why I said maybe having a roommate would help if you're not bougie like me and you want to live by yourself. Budgeting for like electricity, Wi-Fi, whether it's card notes, but also having money for social life. Like I said, if you are the type of person that likes to go out and explore and do things, make sure to have that budgeted into your monthly expenses. Also, food, we need to eat, so all of that needs to be budgeted out. We get paid monthly, and even talking to more senior grad students can help with budgeting. Also learning about taxes. My first year filing for taxes was crazy. I was like, I'm really an adult. Like, that's so crazy. Learning how to file taxes. There are so many things that I had to learn about being an adult that I didn't have to know about until I got into grad school. So I feel like everyone is here and willing to help. But if you have any questions, definitely be sure to ask other grad students. Lastly, I would say just enjoy the ride. Honestly, my first year was full of ups and downs, and I would not redo anything in this experience because I feel like it made me the person that I am today. In grad school, it's built resilience, it's built strength, and most importantly, I have a whole community behind me. I've met so many great people in this program. Also, I've had the opportunity to even mentor first year students coming into the program. So I just think overall it was a great experience. I'm still learning. There's still a lot that I have to learn from. I'm not sure if I missed anything else in here, and I'll probably have to do a second video if I missed anything. But if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. But thank you all for tuning in, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all later. Bye.